Hello, and welcome to STEM Online Academy. For those of you who's your first time, STEM Online Academy, we're a very unique tutoring company. By the way, my name is Jason Masterakos. I'm the president and CEO of STEM Online Academy. We specialize in helping undergraduate students with uh, advanced mathematics and physics concepts, right? Specifically for midterms and exams, how to tackle hard to very hard questions on midterms and exams. Pretty much everything that anyone wants, like how to crack those hard problems. Okay. So, today is going to be a bit about the channel story, just to remind you about who I am and what we do. Okay. A little bit backstory about me, more of a backstory today. By the way, I haven't made a video in a while. Last week I was busy. Sorry about that, but I'm going to get right to it. So I'm Jason Masterakos. Um, why did I develop STEM Online Academy? How did I develop it, and how's my skill set aligned with the vision of STEM Online Academy? STEM Online Academy, right, was based off my interest in school, mathematics and physics, right, in university. Okay, but let's go all the way back to when I was in junior high school. In junior high school, I was a person who was very shy, um, came off as timid, came off as a bit incompetent at the time. And I was actually in grade 7 and 8, I was struggling in mathematics. That's the honest truth. Okay. I didn't know how to approach problems. Okay. For me, it was like rocket engineering. Right? I remember I used to go through grade 1 all the way through the end of grade 7 having trouble. Yeah, yeah, a lot of trouble. To a point where I was even having they misdiagnosed me with some sort of um, learning disability because of it. They thought I had a major problem with learning. But I came across, and I was getting very depressed. I was becoming very, like just like anyone else who has trouble with school, and you eventually start to give up unless you actually found a teacher that believes in you and is able to show you your potential and your skill, right? Okay. So for me, it wasn't until grade 8 I had one teacher. Okay, one teacher. This guy was like a brilliant man. Okay, he was actually a professor. He was a professor in math and something else. Like he was working in junior high school as some sort of second job. I can't remember, but he was very, very bright, right? And he noticed I was frustrated in the first day of class, and he was like, "Why are you frustrated, Jason? What is it? We just started the year. What is it?" And I was like, I've always had trouble with math. I just don't get it. Something is not clicking, right?" What he did is he showed me a way that can actually help almost anybody in mathematics, from the most basic to even the most difficult. And that's what my channel is about, right? It's about a systems based technique, right? This guy was old at the time, so he's probably no longer around, but his name was what was it, Joshua Kent, right? Very, very bright guy. And he said, "Jason, listen, I'm going to show you a way that can break down problems in a step by step, rigorous, airtight reasoning type of approach. Okay? Especially when it comes to problem solving questions. Those are the hardest for people. Doing regular algorithmic processes with equations, like basic equations, is very easy. It's the word problems and the problem solving that gets people messed up, right? Which is why I talk on my channel a lot. Okay, but he showed me a method that was very effective, and I want to reiterate what that method is. Number one is called visualize, right? Visualize, and then you want to model, you want to execute, you want to verify. Okay, so you want to be able, when you're doing a problem solving question, especially, you want to be able to visualize what's happening. So you make sure you understand what you've read from the problem. Okay, even if it's a big block. If you don't understand it, reread it. From that paragraph, you want to be able to translate the words into a model, right? Into some sort of picture in your mind, so you know what you're dealing with. And then from the model, right? Okay, from that model or that visualization, we'll start with visualization first. It's visualize it. So we want to visualize what we've read. Okay, then we go from the visualization to the model. Okay, and then when I mean model, I mean draw down what you have visualized. Okay, as long as what you've done is that you semantically mapped what was in your mind from what you read to um, to an actual geometric description. Okay, with quantities, assign quantities and variables, so that's why you know what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Okay, and then from that model, right, you want to be able to execute it. So what I mean by that is come up with some sort of mathematical expression that is linked to this model. They need to be both in reality. If they're not in reality, if they're both not mapped, then it doesn't work. Okay, so take that as it is. So do that. Okay, and then from that model, right, you want to be able to eventually do this. Okay, you want to be able to, as I said, visualize, model, execute. The execution process is when you're putting down numbers or algebra to express the model. Okay. From there, the last step is to verify it. You want to verify whatever calculation that you made or algebraic equation that you made, basic, whether it's basic or very complicated, to see if it makes sense with the model. Okay. Classic example. Let's say here's a basic calculus problem. Let's say, for instance, you want to determine the area under y equals x squared from 0 to 1. You know, on that right branch of the curve, the area has to be positive under the curve because the parabola is above the positive x-axis, right? It's positive y x squared. So if when you integrate the area and you get a negative answer from the algebra, then you know something doesn't make sense. You know automatically that you did something that does not make any sense whatsoever. Okay, so that's a classic example I like to use in terms of showing people that, okay, this is what it is. Okay, but we can verify what we're saying if it makes sense or not. So we use common sense to see if the algebra corresponds to the geometry. Okay, and ever since I use Mr. Joshua Kent's model in high school, I fly. Oh, junior high school. After junior high school, I went to high school. I just flew through math, right? I just flew through it. Now, I'm not saying that this is a formula that is perfect. It depends on how well you're utilizing this. Okay, it's harder than it is than it seems, but it can actually be very handy. The results that I've gotten through um, my high school career was beyond like amazing. I was getting like 90. It was like 90 average in high school. And my math grades went up through the roof. Okay. And then from there, I went to university. I went to university in Ottawa because I'm Canadian. Okay. For you Americans out there, don't hurt me. We're brothers for God's sakes. Yeah. So, anyways, back to it. I went to university in Canada. It's called Carleton University in Ottawa, and I chose their hardest degree program, right? Which was a double major in mathematics and physics, right? Right. So I graduated with that with a 3.85 GP. Well, they don't have a GPA out of 4 at Carleton, but if we convert it, it's around a 3.85 out of 4.0 GPA. So I was like in the A grades, right? In that region, anyways, A minus, something like that. It was like A or something. Yeah. I graduated from Carleton University, and yeah, yes, it was stellar grades. That man pretty much saved my life academically. Academically, so academically is important, right? Because without an education, it's very hard to succeed nowadays. I mean, there's still ways to do it. There's things as I've talked about on my channel, and we'll talk on my channel. I mean, like now we have AI, it makes things easier for people, but even that, I talk about you need to be able to not not to forego your thinking, right? You still need to do the thinking, right? If you allow the AI to do it for you, it's not going to help. Okay. It's not going to help whatsoever. But anyways, I digress. Back to what I was saying. So yes, that teacher definitely saved me, and I was inspired actually by him. I said to myself, if this is the results that I got from this method from this teacher, this guy was a genius. Um, the, like what I got, the results I got from this teacher in general, what it can do for me. I thought to myself, what if I can help other people who have tremendous difficulty, even if it's not tremendous difficulty, even if you're a very good student, you're always going to come to some cap when it comes to math, especially when it comes to exams and stuff like that. And then I said to myself, what if I can help university students? University students start to see their ultimate potential. If I can develop some sort of teaching or tutoring business that can help them reach even way past their potential, right? And develop confidence, emotional resilience, and creativity. And that's what this channel is about, right? Right. We're about helping the undergraduate student, whether they do well, have done well, or really well, or if not that well, regardless of their situation. We help them be. They all have one thing in common, and that is helping that specific student with hard midterm and exam type questions that they would normally get stuck on. We teach them techniques on how to solve these problems, right? And the technique that I mentioned, the systems technique, that my teacher taught me all those years ago, I thought to myself, what if I can help change people's lives? Okay. And that's how I developed STEM Online Academy. Okay. 6 years ago in 2020 during COVID. Fun, finally. It was actually somewhat, I don't know if it was due to necessity since we were all locked in. I graduated a bit before COVID. Um, but for those 6 years, starting in 2020, I started that business and I managed to help a lot of students who were in major trouble with my coaching processes with mathematics. Okay. By a combination of first teaching them the technique that I've mentioned to you, and also getting them used to solving specific problems, um, hard problems. I mean, hard problems, right? At first, you'll be scared, maybe a little terrified if you're an undergraduate student, but these hard problems and utilizing this systems based technique, okay, they're still hard. They're still hard for students, but they become much more manageable and the student becomes much more confident. That's why on my website, you will see the slew. We got like 25 5-star ratings, all of that. That is because I've managed to, I don't want to say save, but some people said I saved their life. They feel like, because for a lot of people, they feel like without university, if they can't get through university for engineering or doctor or whatever it is, quite often those programs require math and physics courses. Um, they feel like they'd be in trouble. Right. And I just want to point out there, that's why I developed this tutoring academy, is because I wanted to change people's lives, just like how that teacher changed my life. Okay. Right. But I graduated Carleton University and never looked back. I have even my own book, right? So you can say I'm a professional mathematician and physicist, as well as I'm an entrepreneur as well, because I started my own business, the Online Academy. But that man changed my life. Okay, and if you stick to the channel and you support our our the legacy that I want to bring to you guys, I want to help you guys sincerely, right? If I can do that. Okay. Right. So I hope you like and subscribe to the channel. It'll be really handy if you enjoyed this video. Put any comments below in the YouTube comments. As I said, this is the backstory about me today. I haven't done a backstory. Probably should have done it. way long ago when I started this channel. But I always feel like it's good to put my input, where I came from, how I developed as a person, how I developed the skills, and why I started this this academy and why I started this channel. Okay, so I hope you guys will stay tuned. Again, like and subscribe. And yeah, so last week I didn't post anything. This week I'm going to post 2 3 videos hopefully this week. Last week I was busy, but like and subscribe for you new guys, and there's going to be plenty of cool problems coming up. Stay tuned, guys. It's always a pleasure.